Ladies and gentlemen, imagine waking up every day in a world that expects you to follow a certain path, to have someone by your side, to be part of a couple. But what if you choose to walk a different path, one where you don't need anyone to define your worth? This is the story of a man who decides to live alone, without a girlfriend, in a society that often defines success by relationships. It's not about being lonely or broken. It's about understanding that solitude is not a void, but a space where you discover your true potential. In Act 1, he faces the fear of judgment, the pressure of expectations, and the suffocating feeling that he's not enough. In Act 2, he fights back, questioning everything, finding strength in his independence, learning to thrive in the silence of his own mind. And then, just when you think he has everything figured out, the cliffhanger hits. Will he stay on this lonely road, or will the very idea of connection change him forever? Stick around, because what happens next will challenge everything you think you know about happiness and success. Self-reliance is the cornerstone of personal growth and true freedom. In a world that constantly pushes us toward relationships, partnerships, and the validation of others, the choice to live alone without a girlfriend offers a unique opportunity to build a deep connection with oneself. This choice is not a sign of weakness or a lack of desire for connection. Rather, it is a declaration of strength. A man who chooses to live alone becomes his own support system, learning to depend on himself for emotional strength, decision-making, and fulfillment. When you choose self-reliance, you begin to realize that the foundation of your happiness, success, and emotional well-being cannot and should not be dependent on anyone else's presence or approval. It shifts your perspective from seeking validation externally to cultivating it within yourself. Being self-reliant means you take full responsibility for your life, your decisions, and your emotions. It requires you to build resilience, to adapt, and to learn to cope with challenges without relying on someone else for comfort or direction. The absence of a romantic relationship forces you to develop a deeper understanding of your own needs, desires, and weaknesses. You become more aware of who you truly are, not just in the context of being with another person, but in your own space, your own life. The moments of loneliness become the perfect opportunities to reflect on your own identity, to question what you truly want from life, and to nurture your passions and interests without being influenced by external expectations. It's in this solitude that the seeds of personal growth are planted, as you begin to see the immense power you have in shaping your own narrative. In contrast to the often romanticized notion of finding completeness through a relationship, self-reliance teaches you that you are already whole. You don't need someone else to fill a void or give your life purpose. Instead, you learn to find fulfillment in your own journey, trusting yourself to make decisions, face obstacles, and pursue goals independently. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that being single means something is missing, but in reality, it's an opportunity to experience life on your own terms, without the compromises and adjustments that come with being in a relationship. Self-reliance pushes you to become the best version of yourself, not for someone else, but for your own growth and potential. This sense of independence doesn't mean you isolate yourself from the world, nor does it mean you don't seek relationships or connections with others. It simply means that your sense of worth isn't tied to the presence or absence of a partner. When you cultivate self-reliance, you are able to enter future relationships if they come with a healthy mindset, knowing that your happiness and stability do not depend on another person's love or attention. You no longer need to seek external approval to validate your existence. You learn to validate yourself. This self-validation is powerful because it creates a solid foundation from which to pursue any goal, relationship, or aspiration, knowing that you have everything you need within you to succeed. Living alone without a girlfriend doesn't mean you live in isolation. Instead, it means you are taking full ownership of your emotional and psychological well-being. You learn to navigate the ups and downs of life on your own, without the need to share every moment or rely on someone else to make you feel better during tough times. The process of self-reliance is a journey of introspection, where you question the beliefs and ideas that others may have instilled in you, and you replace them with your own truths. This process of self-discovery is empowering because it allows you to break free from societal norms that often pressure individuals to seek validation through relationships. The challenges of living alone can sometimes feel overwhelming, but they also provide invaluable lessons. When faced with difficulties, you have no choice but to find solutions within yourself. You become resourceful, resilient, and adaptable as you learn to navigate life's obstacles with a mindset that embraces growth and learning. It is through these experiences that you gain the confidence to face the world without fear, knowing that you have the strength to handle whatever comes your way. Self-reliance teaches you that you are capable of weathering any storm, not because you have someone to lean on, but because you have learned how to stand tall on your own. Living alone also teaches you to value your time and your energy in a way that is often difficult in a relationship. When you are not constantly attending to the needs of someone else, you are able to focus on your own dreams, ambitions, and aspirations. You begin to prioritize what truly matters to you and learn to make decisions based on your values, rather than compromising for the sake of a relationship. This self-focus is liberating because it allows you to pursue your passions and build a life that aligns with your true desires. Ultimately, self-reliance is about understanding that you are enough on your own. You don't need someone to complete you or give you a sense of purpose. Your purpose is already within you, and it is up to you to cultivate it, nurture it, and live it every day. By choosing self-reliance, you embrace your own power and create a life that is authentically yours. It is a journey that requires courage, strength, and the willingness to face yourself fully. But once you begin to understand the power of self-reliance, you realize that it's not only a way to live, but a way to thrive. Inner peace is often something we seek in the chaos of the world, in the constant hustle of life, in the noise of our relationships, and the pressure of expectations. But what if the key to true peace lies not in external circumstances, but in the quiet solitude of being alone? When a man chooses to live alone without a girlfriend, he is presented with the rare opportunity to find peace within himself. In solitude, he is not distracted by the desires or needs of others, nor is he caught in the drama of maintaining a relationship. Instead, he has the time and space to truly connect with his own mind, heart, and soul. This quiet environment allows him to reflect on his thoughts, confront his fears, and make peace with his past, all of which are essential steps in achieving inner peace. Solitude offers a unique opportunity to break free from the constant need to impress, to conform, or to please others. In relationships, much of our emotional energy is often spent trying to meet the expectations of our partner, making compromises, or adjusting our behavior to keep the connection strong. However, when alone, a man is free from these external pressures. This freedom allows him to reconnect with his true self without the distortions that relationships can sometimes bring. The absence of a partner provides the space for him to evaluate his own needs, desires, and goals without being influenced by someone else's opinion or agenda. It is in this space that a deep sense of calm can begin to settle, as he realizes that he doesn't need anyone else to define his worth or happiness. In the solitude of living alone, there is no rush to keep up with the expectations of a relationship. The constant hustle of managing another person's emotions or demands fades away, creating room for quiet contemplation and self-care. This break from the constant external influence allows a man to reconnect with what truly matters to him. The pressure to perform in the context of a romantic relationship can often create stress, anxiety, and a sense of being overwhelmed. But when alone, a man can take a step back and reflect on his priorities, values, and the direction he wants his life to go in. With no one else to focus on, he becomes the center of his own universe, and in that moment, he can experience the inner peace that comes from being wholly and completely himself. Solitude is also a powerful tool for self-discovery. It provides the space needed to examine the depths of one's thoughts and emotions without the distractions of daily life or the opinions of others. When a man is alone, he can truly face his inner fears, insecurities, and doubts. It's in this confrontation with the self that a man can begin to heal from past hurts, let go of negative self-perceptions, and discover his true nature. By embracing the quiet moments of solitude, he learns to listen to his inner voice and trust his intuition. This connection with his own inner wisdom is the foundation of lasting peace. It teaches him that peace doesn't come from outside forces, but from within. It is a state of mind, a way of being that transcends the external noise. The practice of being alone also allows for deeper emotional healing. Without the emotional demands of a relationship, a man can take time to process his own emotions, heal from past trauma, and understand the root causes of his stress or anxiety. He doesn't need to put on a facade or hide his true feelings. In solitude, he can face them head on. This emotional freedom is vital for growth, as it creates the space needed for emotional intelligence to develop. Through this process, a man can learn to respond to life's challenges with grace and composure instead of reacting impulsively. The more time spent in solitude, the better a man becomes at managing his emotions, creating a sense of calm that permeates all areas of his life. Living alone also gives a man the chance to engage in self-care practices that nourish his mind, body, and soul. With no one else to consider, he can prioritize his own well-being without guilt or distraction. Whether it's engaging in meditation, physical exercise, pursuing hobbies, or simply taking time to rest, solitude gives him the opportunity to recharge and replenish his energy. These moments of self-care are essential for maintaining mental and emotional balance, as they allow a man to reconnect with his own needs and desires. The more time spent caring for himself, the more he cultivates a sense of peace that radiates from within. One of the most profound aspects of solitude is the way it allows a man to develop a deep sense of self-reliance. By learning to navigate the world on his own without the need for validation or support from others, he becomes more grounded in his own sense of identity. This independence creates a stable foundation for inner peace, as he no longer relies on external factors for happiness or fulfillment. His peace comes from knowing that he is enough, just as he is. This self-assurance is the key to achieving lasting tranquility, as it allows him to face the challenges of life with confidence and resilience. Finally, solitude teaches the value of presence. When a man is alone, he is able to be fully present in each moment, without the distractions of external relationships or obligations. He can enjoy the simplicity of being without the need to constantly do, achieve, or perform. This presence creates a deep sense of peace as he learns to appreciate life as it is, without the need for constant striving or seeking. In the stillness of solitude, he can find joy in the present moment, knowing that peace is not something to be chased, but something to be experienced here and now. Success has often been defined by the presence of relationships, by the idea that to be truly successful in life, one must have a partner, a significant other, or even a family. Society tends to celebrate those who are coupled, associating romantic relationships with happiness, stability, and fulfillment. But what if success is something that doesn't rely on another person to define it? What if a man who lives alone without a girlfriend can redefine success on his own terms, without the influence of societal expectations or external pressures? This redefinition doesn't diminish the importance of relationships, but offers a broader perspective on what it means to truly succeed in life. For many, the idea of success is inherently tied to the idea of having a romantic partner. There's an unspoken belief that a person is incomplete without someone by their side, and that a life without a significant other is a life less lived. But this view fails to acknowledge the richness of life that can exist outside of romantic relationships. A man who lives alone without a girlfriend can find success by focusing on his personal growth, his goals, and his passions. His success is not measured by how many dates he has or whether he's in a relationship. Instead, his success is found in how he uses his time, how he develops himself, and how he contributes to the world around him. In fact, this man's journey may be more rewarding because he is not bogged down by the distractions, compromises, or emotional labor that relationships sometimes require. Redefining success in this way allows a man to pursue his passions without guilt or distraction. Without the responsibility of managing a romantic relationship, he has the freedom to dedicate his time to personal endeavors, whether that's advancing in his career, traveling the world, pursuing hobbies, or building his own empire. Success becomes about achieving personal milestones, not societal ones. He can set his own goals and push himself to achieve things that are meaningful to him, without feeling the pressure to conform to a traditional narrative of success. He can choose his path based on his values and desires rather than the expectations that come with being in a relationship. Success in this sense becomes an internal measure of how far he has come, not a reflection of what others think he should have achieved. Furthermore, living alone without a girlfriend can provide a man with the opportunity to cultivate deep self-awareness. When he is not constantly negotiating his needs and desires with a partner, he can focus on understanding himself better. What makes him happy? What are his true passions? What kind of life does he want to lead? Success then becomes not just about accomplishments, but about self-discovery. A man who lives alone can focus on his mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being, nurturing these aspects of himself to create a strong, grounded sense of identity. The clarity that comes from self-reflection can be a powerful force in shaping the trajectory of his life. The more time spent understanding himself, the more empowered he becomes to take charge of his life and his decisions, which leads to a more meaningful and fulfilling definition of success. The absence of a romantic relationship also gives a man the space to develop independence in all areas of his life. Success is not just about career achievements or personal growth, but also about the ability to stand on your own 2 feet. A man who lives alone is responsible for every aspect of his life, his financial well-being, his emotional health, his daily routines, and his long-term goals. There is no partner to share these responsibilities with, which means that he learns to take full ownership of his life. This independence fosters confidence and resilience as he becomes more self-sufficient in handling life's challenges. Success is not about avoiding difficulty, but about learning how to navigate and overcome obstacles on your own. This independence builds a strong foundation of self-reliance that allows a man to thrive regardless of whether he is in a relationship. Moreover, redefining success without a relationship can lead to deeper connections with others in a more meaningful and less dependent way. When a man is not focused on fulfilling the needs of a romantic partner, he has more time and energy to invest in other relationships, whether with family, friends, or colleagues. Success can then be measured by the strength of these connections, by the impact he has on others, and by the quality of the relationships he cultivates. This broadened view of success acknowledges that meaningful relationships extend beyond romantic love, and that a fulfilling life is not defined solely by one's romantic status. A man who embraces this idea of success finds joy in his connections with others without feeling that his worth is defined by having a partner. Redefining success without a relationship also involves letting go of the societal pressure to conform. In a world that constantly promotes the idea that a romantic relationship is the ultimate goal, choosing to live alone can feel like an act of rebellion. It challenges the traditional narrative that says you are incomplete without a partner. However, by rejecting this societal expectation, a man can create a new narrative for himself, one where success is defined by his own criteria. This act of independence becomes a source of pride as he realizes that success is not about meeting external standards, but about living authentically. The more he embraces this new definition of success, the more he becomes an example to others who may feel trapped by the idea that relationships are the ultimate measure of a fulfilling life. In the end, redefining success without a relationship is about empowerment. It's about embracing the freedom that comes with being your own person, carving out a path that aligns with your values, and finding fulfillment in ways that are uniquely yours. Success is not a one-size-fits-all concept, and it doesn't have to be measured by whether or not you are in a relationship. It's about the life you create, the person you become, and the legacy you leave behind. By redefining success, a man who lives alone without a girlfriend can discover a new sense of freedom and fulfillment that is deeply satisfying, rooted in his own identity and achievements. The freedom to pursue personal goals is one of the greatest gifts that comes with living alone without a girlfriend. When a man chooses solitude, he is afforded the precious space to focus entirely on his own aspirations without the distraction or compromise that often accompanies a relationship. In a romantic partnership, there is a natural balancing act between prioritizing personal dreams and attending to the needs and desires of a significant other. While relationships can be fulfilling and supportive, they also demand emotional energy and time, which can sometimes pull a person away from their individual goals. Living alone gives a man the opportunity to dedicate himself fully to his ambitions, whether they are career-oriented, creative, personal, or intellectual. Without the emotional commitment to a partner, he has the freedom to fully immerse himself in his passions and pursuits. This kind of freedom is transformative. It allows him to structure his day around what truly matters to him, whether it's developing new skills, focusing on a long-term project, or simply taking the time to rest and recharge in preparation for future challenges. The absence of romantic obligations provides the time and mental space to think critically about what he wants to achieve and how he can go about making it happen. He can set goals without needing to consider how they will impact a partner's life or whether compromises need to be made along the way. His focus is entirely on his own path, and this clarity can often lead to greater success because there is no conflict of interest. Each decision, every step forward, is his own to make, driven by his vision of what success looks like for him. Without the constant pull of a relationship, a man also has the luxury of not having to answer to anyone about how he spends his time or what he prioritizes. He can choose to work late into the night on a passion project without feeling guilty or concerned about someone else's needs. He can decide to take a spontaneous trip to explore the world or dedicate an entire weekend to reading or learning new skills. There is no one else's schedule to sync with, no partner to consider when making decisions about how to spend his free time. This autonomy is a powerful form of freedom. It allows him to follow his intuition, to make bold moves, and to chase after his dreams without hesitation or delay. He is free to experiment, to fail, and to succeed, all without the external pressure to perform for anyone but himself. Furthermore, the ability to prioritize personal goals in solitude enables a deeper connection to one's purpose. A man who lives alone has the time to reflect on what drives him, what truly ignites his passion, and motivates him to keep moving forward. Whether it's advancing in his career, learning a new language, building a business, or mastering a new hobby, he has the space to think deeply about what he wants to achieve and why it matters to him. This focus is not diluted by the demands of a relationship or the need to constantly check in with a partner. It's a powerful form of clarity that allows him to move through life with a sense of intention and purpose, knowing exactly what he wants to accomplish and why it's important to him. The freedom to pursue personal goals also opens up opportunities for self-improvement. Living alone gives a man the time and space to work on himself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. He can commit to a fitness regimen that aligns with his own health goals, take up meditation or mindfulness practices to improve his mental well-being, or dive into educational pursuits that help him grow intellectually. There is no partner to slow him down or distract him from these pursuits. Every effort is directed towards becoming the best version of himself. The beauty of this freedom lies in the fact that he is in full control of his self-improvement journey, making decisions based on what feels right for him and what aligns with his values. It's a constant process of growth where he can measure success not by external validation, but by his own progress and development. The freedom to pursue personal goals also means having the ability to take risks, something that is often more difficult when in a relationship. A man who lives alone doesn't need to consult anyone else before making bold decisions. He can take calculated risks in his career, move to a new city for a fresh start, or dedicate resources to a business venture that excites him. The absence of a partner's opinions or concerns about the risks involved allows him to be more adventurous in pursuing what truly excites him. There's a sense of liberation in knowing that he doesn't have to answer to anyone for the risks he takes or the path he chooses. It's his journey to navigate, and that autonomy can be incredibly empowering. Moreover, without the constraints of balancing a relationship, he has more flexibility to adapt and adjust his plans as needed. If a particular goal no longer resonates with him, he can pivot without needing to negotiate with someone else. If he finds a new interest or passion, he can dive into it fully without the fear of disappointing a partner or having to balance competing priorities. This freedom to adapt ensures that his personal growth and goals are always aligned with his evolving desires and ambitions. He is not bound by the expectations of others, which allows him to explore life on his terms. Living alone also encourages a deeper level of self-discipline. Without the support system of a partner, a man must rely on his own internal motivation to achieve his goals. This reliance on personal discipline fosters a strong sense of accountability and responsibility. He becomes his own cheerleader and critic, learning how to stay focused, motivated, and committed to his dreams. This internal drive is essential for success because it teaches him to depend on himself, to overcome obstacles through sheer willpower and determination. In doing so, he develops a level of resilience that cannot be easily shaken, and his sense of accomplishment is rooted in his own efforts. In essence, the freedom to pursue personal goals without a relationship allows a man to live life on his own terms. It provides him with the space to grow, to take risks, to learn from failure, and to build the life he truly desires. This freedom is a gift, one that enables him to become the person he was always meant to be, without the constraints or distractions of a romantic relationship. It is the ultimate expression of autonomy and self-empowerment, where his dreams are his own to chase and his future is his to shape.